911. 911, is anyone there?
In 2013, Joint Communications dispatched a total of 13,296 911 checks. Of those, only 29 incidents resulted in a report or an arrest, or were actionable. 911 centers follow up on all 911 calls to the best of our ability to determine that an emergency does not exist. So if a person calls 911 and they hang up and we're not able to establish contact with them, then the protocol is to send officers to investigate that call.
They classify that as an unknown risk because we don't have any information about the call. So they're going to send 2 officers to that call.
So that creates problems for other citizens if officers are responding to a call and we're tying up 2 officers for that call. That's 2 officers that can't respond to other calls that are pending.
We have limited resources. We have a limited number of officers, and sometimes we'll have multiple calls for service waiting for an officer to respond to and no officer available to go. So they have to prioritize which calls they go to, and 911 calls with no information or little information may get pushed down the stack until there's officers available to respond, because we know some of the other calls. We have information on those, and the unknown calls might get responded to slower to, or if it's a 911 call and there's a disturbance heard, or somebody's walking down the street, maybe somebody's yelling, those will get officer response faster. So if a person accidentally calls and they stay on the line and give them more information, we might only send 1 officer. So it's kind of a waste of resources. If you hang up, we're going to send 2 officers to that call. Well, some of the most common reasons people accidentally call 911 are they're carrying the phone in their pocket and it accidentally keys 911 somehow, or they have it set that it will call 911 with the touch of 1 button.
Hello.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hello, Papa.
Hello, 911.
Oh, yeah.
Another common cause is kids get a hold of cell phones and just push random numbers, or they've actually learned how to call 911 from school or something, and they just test it out when it's not an emergency. Another common one is people in an office environment. If they have to dial 9 to get an outside line, they might be calling long distance and dial 9 and then hit the 1 button twice instead of once, and it ends up generating a 911 call.
The problem is when you call 911 and you hang up, the phone doesn't stop ringing for us. It follows through to the 911 center, and then we're required to follow up on that call. And many times when we call back, we get voicemail because the misdial, the person realizes that they accidentally called, they hang up, they call who they intended to call, and when we call them back, we get a message. If you accidentally call 911, the best thing you can do is just stay on the phone, communicate with the operator, let them know that it's not an emergency. It happens quite frequently, and you're not in trouble if you do that.